Hello students, I hope that all of you are doing well. So in today's class, we are going to discuss some of the questions which came in your test, that is AIT, in August 23. So let's discuss. So question number 1 says the larva of which of the following would penetrate the body of man through the soles of feet if people walk barefooted on the contaminated soil. Option A says Trichinella, B is Bezaria, C is Cyclostoma, and D is Visharea. So let's look at the option. Option number 1 says Trichinella. So Trichinella is a roundworm. It causes a disease which is known as trichinellosis. And this disease occurs when you eat the undercooked or the raw meat of the infected animals, the animals which are infected by this roundworm. Next one, option B is Bezaria, and Bezaria is a disease which is caused by a parasitic worm. Option D is Wucheria. Wucheria is also a roundworm which causes a disease known as lymphatic filariasis. Which is also known as elephantiasis. So the transmission of this roundworm Wucheria, it occurs from the infected person to the healthy person through the mosquito bite. But encyclostoma is the one which enters the body of the human through the soles of the feet if the people they walk barefoot on the contaminated soil. So cyclostoma is the one which causes a disease known as cyclostomasis, and in this disease it the site where this pathogen or the roundworm entered, it causes the rashes. Along with that, it also causes the abdominal pain. So the correct option for this question is option number C, which is cyclostoma. Now moving to next one. Question number 2 says match the following and select the correct option from the codes given below. There's two columns are given, column A and column B, and you have to match the correct options. So column A contains the name of the organism and column B contains the common name of those organisms. So you have to match it correctly. So it's a direct question from the NCERT and it's a very easy question. So all the organisms which are mentioned in column A, they are from the phylum Coelenterata, which is also known as Lidaria. So Physalia is known as the Portuguese man of war. Mindaria is known as the sea fan. Gorgonia is known as the, sorry, Mindriana is known as the brain coral. And Gorgonia is known as the sea fan. And Adamsia is known as the sea anemone. That means A is fourth, B is second, C is 3 and D is 1. Now look at the correct option. A 4, B second, C third and D 1. So the correct option is option number C. Now moving to question number 3, which says read the following statements and select the correct option. Statement 1, the bacterial endospore can easily tolerate a temperature of plus minus 100 degrees Celsius. Statement B says the endospores have thick wall, low water content and anticoagulant chemicals. So option says option A, both statement A and B are correct and statement B is the correct explanation of statement A. Statement B says option B says both statement A and B are correct, but statement B is not the correct explanation of statement A. Option C says statement A is correct, but statement B is incorrect. And option D says both statement A and B are incorrect. So you have given a two statements, statement A and B, and you have to find out whether the statement A and B are correct or whether they are the correct explanation, whether the statement B is the correct explanation of statement A. So look at the statement A, which says that the bacterial endospore can easily tolerate a temperature of plus minus 100 degrees Celsius. And statement B says that endospore have thick wall, low water content and anticoagulant chemicals. Statement A and statement B both are true. Now we have to find out whether the statement B is the correct explanation of statement A or not. Statement B says the endospore have thick wall, low water content and anticoagulant chemical. This is absolutely correct. Why the endospore? Like endospores, they are formed in bacteria, and why they are formed? They are formed during the unfavorable condition or the adverse condition. The bacteria, they form the endospores. So those endospores, they have thick wall. They have low water content. They have anticoagulant chemical, and that chemical name is pipercolinic acid. This is the chemical which make the endospore heat resistant. That means the endospore can tolerate high heat. Okay, that means it can tolerate the high temperature. That means it can tolerate the temperature of plus and minus 100 degrees Celsius because of this chemical which is dipicolinic acid. So statement B says that they have thick wall, they have low water content, they have anticoagulant chemical which is dipicolinic acid because of which they can tolerate the high temperature. So statement B is the correct explanation of statement A. So the correct option would be option number A, that both statement A and B are correct and statement B is the correct explanation of statement A. Now moving to next one. Next question says the bryophytes can be separated from algae because they have option A are they are thalloid forms. Option B they have no conducting tissue. Option C they possesses archegonia. Option D they contain chloroplasts. So you have to find out the difference between the bryophytes and the algae. That how these bryophytes they are separated or they are different from the algae. Option 1 says that they are thalloid form, absolutely correct. They are thalloid form. Have no conducting tissue, absolutely correct. Both bryophytes and the algae, they don't have the conducting tissues. Possess archegonia. This is the correct option. Remember, in algae, the female sex organ is oogonia. Whereas in bryophytes, the female sex organ is archegonia. So the correct option is option number C. These says they contain chloroplast. Bryophytes and algae, they perform photosynthesis. They do have chloroplast. So the correct option is option number C. Moving to next one, which one of the following statement is wrong? A. Chlorella and spirulina are used as space food. B. Mannitol is stored food in rhodophyceae. C. Algin and carrageen are products of algae. And D. Agar and agar is obtained from Gelidium and Grassilidium. You have to find out the wrong statement, the statement which is incorrect. So option number one says Chlorella and spirulina are used as space food. Yes, they are used as space food. Remember, but very important point which you have to remember here, students, that Chlorella is a green algae, whereas spirulina is a cyanobacteria. It's a blue-green algae. Remember this. Very, very important point. Spirulina is not a green algae. It is a cyanobacteria. It's a blue-green algae. Remember this. So option A is correct. That Chlorella and spirulina, they are used as a space food. Option B says mannitol is the stored food in rhodophyceae. This is incorrect. Mannitol and laminarum. These are the reserve food material in case of brown algae, which is also known as Phaeophyceae. But in case of the red algae, which is known as rhodophyceae, the reserve food material is the floridine starch. So option B is incorrect, and the question is asking which of one of the following statement is wrong. So option B is correct with respect to the question. Option C says that algin and carrageen are products of algae. Absolutely correct. Algin, we obtain it from brown algae, whereas carrageen, we obtain it from red algae. And both are hydrocolloid substance. That means they have the capacity to hold water. Option number D says agar and agar is obtained from the gelidium and gracilia. Absolutely correct. Agar and agar is a solidifying agent and it is obtained from the red algae, which is gelidium and gracilia. So this is also correct. But statement option B is incorrect and it's also correct with respect to the question because question is asking about the wrong statement. I hope it is clear to everyone. Please student, do remember the chart which is given in the NCERT, the chart which is the contains a brief description about the algae, the number of flagella, the stored food material, where their habitat, everything. Please remember this. Very, very important. Even the pigments which are present in the algae, these are very important. Many times the question came from me only from that chart which is given in NCERT. Remember this. Now moving to next, read the following 5 statement 1 to 5 and select the option with all correct statements. 1. Mosses and lichen are the first organism to colonize a bare rock. Statement 2 is Selaginella is a homosporous pteridophyte. Statement 3 is colloid root in cycas has bam. Statement 4 is main plant body in bryophyte is gametophytic, whereas in pteridophyte it is sporophytic. Option so statement 5th, in gymnosperm, male and female gametophytes are present within sporangia located on sporophyte. And the options are given A, B, C, and D, and we have to find out the correct statement. Like which option will have all the correct statement. That means we have to eliminate the wrong statement. So statement 1 says mosses and lichens are the first organism to colonize a bare rock. Absolutely correct. Lichens, they are known as the pioneers in the succession of the terrestrial ecosystem. And after the lichens, mosses are the one which comes and start colonizing the bare rocks. So mosses and lichens are the first organism to colonize the bare rocks. So this statement is absolutely correct. Second thing, Selaginella is a homosporous pteridophyte. It is wrong. Selaginella is not homosporous. It is heterosporous. Even Salvinia. Salvinia is also heterosporous. Remember these two examples which are given in NCRT. Very, very important. Number 3 says colloid root in cycas has WAMP. WAMP is a arbuscular mycorrhiza. But the colloid root in cycas does not have a fungi. They have a bacteria which is a cyanobacteria. You know that mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association between the roots of the higher plants and the fungi, right? But the colloid roots of cycas, they shows this symbiotic association with these cyanobacteria. Remember this, they show the symbiotic association with the cyanobacteria, which help in the nitrogen fixation, not the fungi. So this is also incorrect. 4 says the main plant body in bryophyte is gametophyte, absolutely correct. Whereas in pteridophyte, it is sporophyte. Yes, this statement is absolutely correct because in bryophyte, the main dominant independent plant body is gametophyte. Whereas in pteridophyte, the independent dominant main plant body is sporophyte. In gymnosperm, the male and female gametophyte are present within the sporangia located on the sporophyte. Absolutely correct. The male and female gametophyte in gymnosperms, they are not detached from the main plant body. They remain associated with the sporophyte, that is the male plant body. That means the male and female gametophyte in gymnosperm does not have the independent existence. They are dependent on the sporophyte. So this is also true. So statement fifth is true, fourth is true, and one is true. So the correct option is option number 8, which says 1, 4th, and 5th are correct. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now moving to next question, dikaryon occurs in A. albumum, B. penicillium, C. alternaria, and D. rhizopus. So dikaryon is a stage which you will observe in two classes of the fungi. One is Ascomycetes, another one is Basidiomycetes. These are the two classes of the fungi that shows the dikaryon stage. That means after the fusion of the protoplast, the nucleus are not immediately fusing. They are like they rest for some time and after some time the nucleus gets fused. So in between the plasmogamy and the karyogamy, there's a stage is known as dikaryon. So between the plasmogamy and the karyogamy, there's a stage is known as the dikaryon. So dikaryon stage you can see in Ascomycetes and in the Basidiomycetes. In Ascomycetes, the example of Ascomycetes is Penicillium, Clavicer, Neurospora, Aspergillus, Saccharomyces, which is yeast. In Basidiomycetes, it is Agaricus, Puccinia, Astilago. Now look at the option. Please remember the examples which are given in NCERT regarding all the four classes of fungi, whether it's Phycomycetes, Basidiomycetes, Ascomycetes, Deuteromycetes. Examples are very important because most of the questions from the biological classification comes from the fungi portion or even from the virus. So please do remember the examples of the fungi. Very, very important. So albugo belong to Phycomycetes. And you remember that dicagon is only present in Esco and Basidium. So albugo is a wrong option. C says Alternaria. Alternaria belong to Deuteromycetes. So this is also incorrect. Rhizopus also belong to Phycomycetes. So this is also incorrect. So the correct option is option number B, which is penicillium, and penicillium belongs to Ascomycetes. So the correct option is option number B. Next question says, refer to the following statement and identify the name of is derived from the stinging capsule. It exhibits metagenesis containing two body forms in which one is sessile and cylindrical form is called dash. The other one is umbrella shaped and free living is called dash. And the option are Nidaria, polyp, medusa. Option B is Nidaria, medusa, polyp. Option C is Ctenophora, redula, hypostome. Option D is Porifera, esculum, and redula. So we have to find out the correct options. In this question, we have to find out the name of the phylum and the two forms, two body forms of that phylum. Few people are aware of it, of this phylum Nidaria, which is also known as Coelenterata. So Nidaria has two body forms. Number one is polyp and the other one is medusa. So polyp is sessile and it's a cylindrical form. Whereas medusa is umbrella shaped and free swimming. So the correct option is Nidaria, polyp and medusa. This is a direct question from NCERT. So the correct option is option number A. Now moving to next question. Endosperm in gymnosperm is formed. A. At the time of fertilization. B. Before fertilization. C. After fertilization. D. Along with the development of embryo. Endosperm in gymnosperm. So endosperm in case of gymnosperm, it is formed before fertilization. And if it is forming before fertilization, that means the ploidy of the endosperm in case of gymnosperm would be haploid. Remember this. Whereas the endosperm which is formed in gymnosperm, it is triploid. The ploid is triploid because it is forming because due to the double fertilization process. and it is forming after fertilization. Please remember the difference between the endosperm of angiosperm and the endosperm of gymnosperm. Very important. Please remember the difference, like whether they are forming before fertilization or after fertilization, and the ploidy. That is very important. So here the question is asking endosperm in gymnosperm is formed. It is formed before fertilization. It is having a ploidy, haploid. So the correct option is option number B, which is before fertilization. Now next question says, following are the differences between the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic flagella. So here the table is given which have the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic flagella differences, and we have to find out which of the following statements are correct. Sorry, which of the following statements are incorrect. So now look at the differences. First is prokaryotic flagella covering of membranous sheath is absent. Absolutely correct. In prokaryotic flagella, they don't have the membranous sheath. In eukaryotic flagella, the flagella are covered by the sheath derived from plasma lamina. Absolutely correct. So this statement is correct. Statement 2 says there are two parts, basal body and shaft. In eukaryotic flagella, the statement 2 says each flagellum has three parts, basal body, hook, and filament. This statement, it is a characteristics of prokaryotic flagella. Prokaryotic flagella is divided into three parts. They have the basal body, hook, and filament. Whereas the eukaryotic flagella, they have only two parts. That is a basal body and the shaft. So this statement is false. Statement number 3 says the basal body bears rootlets. Here, statement number 3 says the basal body bears rings. So, basal body bear rings, this is a characteristic feature of the prokaryotic flagella. Whereas the basal body bear rootlet, this is a characteristic feature of the eukaryotic flagella. So, this statement is also incorrect. So, statement number 3 is also incorrect. Now, statement number 4 says they are formed of protein flagellin. Absolutely correct. And the strands are formed of tubulin protein. In case of eukaryotic flagella, this is also correct because the eukaryotic flagella, they have the microtubules, and microtubules are made up of tubulin protein. So statement number 4 is absolutely correct. Now the question is asking which of the following statements are incorrect. So statement number 2 and statement number 3 are incorrect. That means option number A. Statement number 1 and 4 are correct, but statement number 2 and 3 are incorrect. Next question says, Silagina and salvinia are considered to represent a significant step towards the evolution of the seed habit because A, a female gametophyte is free and get dispersed like seed. B, a female gametophyte lack archegonia. C, a megaspore possesses endosperm and embryo surrounded by seed coat. D, the embryo develops in female gametophyte which is retained on the parent plant. This is a direct question from the NCRT. Remember this very important point that the seed habit, the precursor of the seed habit is observed in the pteridophyte. And what are the symptoms of the seed habit? Precursor means the symptoms. What are the symptoms of the seed habit? That is the embryo develops in the female gametophyte which is retained on the parent sporophyte. That means the female gametophyte is not detached from the parent sporophyte. These female gametophyte, when they are formed, they are remain attached to the main plant body of the pteridophyte, which is sporophyte. So, and these female gametophyte, they have the female gamete, which is an egg. And when the egg fertilizes, they form zygote, and zygote then divide and form the embryo. So, the embryo is still developing in the female gametophyte, and female gametophyte is still attached to the sporophyte. So, these are the symptoms of the seed habits, and these symptoms are first seen in the pteridophyte. That is why we call the pteridophyte, they are the precursor of the seed habit, or they shows the precursor of seed habits, or shows the symptoms of seed habit. So the correct option is option number D. Now next question is, consider the following statement and select the correct option starting which one is true and which one is false. So blue-green algae are the photosynthetic morons. Genetic material in eukaryote is circular, double-stranded, helical, and not enveloped by the nuclear and not enclosed by the nuclear envelope. Third is sexual reproduction in rhizopus is zoogamous, and the mode of sexual fusion is gametangial contact type. Fourth is Noctiluca is the first dinoflagellate to show bioluminescence. Fifth is fungal component of lichen is called phycobiont, and the algal component is called mycobiont. So we have to find out that which statement is true and which statement is false. So statement number one says the blue-green algae are the photosynthetic morons. Absolutely correct. Green algae means cyanobacteria, and the cyanobacteria, they have chlorophyll A, right? So statement one is absolutely correct because the cyanobacteria, they have chlorophyll A and they perform photosynthetic. Sorry, they perform photosynthesis. Second is the genetic material in eukaryote is circular, double-stranded, helical, and not enclosed by the nuclear envelope. This is wrong. The statement is false. The genetic material in eukaryote is linear, it is double-stranded, helical, and enclosed by the nuclear envelope. That is why we call that the eukaryote, they have a well-defined nucleus. Because the genetic material is surrounded by the nuclear membrane. That is why we call they have a well-defined nucleus. Whereas in prokaryotes, the genetic material is not enclosed by the nuclear membrane. Now, statement number three says sexual reproduction in rhizopus is oogamous and the mode of sexual fusion is gametangial contact. No, the mode of sexual fusion is gametangial copulation. In gametangial copulation, the entire gametangia, the protoplasm of the gametangia, they get fused and they form zygospore. When the entire gametangia get fused, they form zygospore. So zygospore you will observe in case of rhizopus. So this statement is also false. Noctiluca is the first dinoflagellate to show bioluminescence. Absolutely correct. Fifth says the fungal component of lichen is called phycobiont and the algal component is called mycobiont. So fifth is also false. We know that the lichen is a symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Algae is known as phycobiont, whereas fungi is known as the mycobiome. So statement number fifth is false. So one is true, second false, third false, fourth is true, and fifth is also false. So the correct option is option number A. Now moving to next one, which of the following is without exception in angiosperm? A. Presence of vessels. B. Autotrophic nutrition. C. Secondary growth. And D. Double fertilization. So question is asking which of the following is without exception in angiosperm. That means the one which does not show any exceptions or which is universally present. Let's discuss the option one by one. Option A says presence of vessels. This is not a universal characteristic of angiosperm because there are some angiosperms which does not have vessels or they lack vessels. For example, Vintera plant, they does not have vessels. So that means there are some exceptions are present in angiosperms regarding the presence of vessels. So this is not the universal characteristic. Second is autotrophic nutrition. We know that the plants, they mostly show the autotrophic mode of nutrition. That means they can synthesize their own food. But there are some exceptions are present. There are some plants which shows heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Like insectivorous plant, Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, striga, rafflesia. Number C says secondary growth. We know that an angiosperm consists of two groups. There's dicot and monocot. That means not all the angiosperms show secondary growth. Only the dicot are the one which shows the secondary growth, but the monocots, they does not shows the secondary growth because they does not have the cambium. Last one comes is the double fertilization. This is the correct option. Because most of the angiosperms, like every angiosperm, they shows double fertilization. This is the characteristic feature of the angiosperm. Now next one, how many features are incorrect for lichens? Number one says slow growing annual plants. Statement number two says water pollution indicator. Option number three says predominant phycobiont as green algae. Four says autotrophic partner may be prokaryotic or eukaryotic. Fifth says major fungal partner as club fungi. So we have to find out the statements which are incorrect for the lichens. Number one says the slow growing annual plants. First, lichens, they are not the plants. They are the symbiotic association between the fungi and the algae. Water pollution indicator, they are not the water pollution indicator. They are the air pollution indicator. They are very sensitive to the sulfur dioxide gas. Predominant phycobiont as green algae, absolutely correct. Autotrophic partner may be prokaryotic or eukaryotic, absolutely correct. The phototrophic partner may be prokaryotic, that is a bacteria like cyanobacteria, or it could be a eukaryotic. Fifth, say major fungal partner as club fungi. This is incorrect. The major fungal partner is Ascomycetes. And sometimes it is Basidiomycetes. And the fifth statement says major fungal partner is clove fungi. You know that the clove fungi is the Basidiomycetes. But the major fungal partner is the Ascomycetes. Remember this. Sometimes it is Basidiomycetes, but the major fungal partner is the Ascomycetes. So this is also incorrect. How many statements are incorrect for lichen? 1, 2nd, and 5th. So the correct option is option number B. Next question says match the classes of the pteridophyte given in column 1 with their examples in column 2 and choose the correct option. Column 1 says Silopsida, column 2 says Selaginella. Column 1 Lycopsida, Synopsida, Pteriopsida, Salutum, Diopteris, Equisita. We have to match the classes of the pteridophyte with their plants or the organism. So we have to find out the correct option. This is a direct question from the NCRT. So Silopsida is Silotum. Lycopsida includes Selaginella. Synopsida includes Equisitum. And Pteriopsida includes Dipteris. So A second, B 1, C fourth, and D 3. Correct option is option number A. Next question says which one of the following pairs of animals comprises the jawless fishes? A is lamprey and eels, B is mackerel and rohu, C is lamprey and hagfish, D is guppies and hagfish. So we have to find out the pair of the animal which comprises the jawless fishes. So lamprey and hagfish are the one which does not have the jaw. They are the jawless fishes. Whereas mackerel, rohu, guppies, eels, they all have jaw. Lamprey and hagfish are the one which are the jawless fishes. So the correct option is option number C. Next question says that statement 1, flora contains the actual distribution of habitat, actual account of habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. Statement 2 is flora helps in correct identification. Option A says statement 1 and 2 are correct and 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. B says statement 1 and 2 are true and statement 2 is not a correct explanation for statement 1. C says statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. D says both statements are false. So we have to find out the correct option. Statement 1 says the flora contain the actual account of habitat and distribution of the plants of a given area. This is absolutely correct because the flora, it contains the information about all the plants which are found in a particular area. For example, if I talk about the flora of Delhi, so flora of Delhi contains all the information about the habitat and about the distribution of the plants which are found in a particular place, that is Delhi. If I talk about the flora of BHU is the Banaras Hindu University. So the flora of BHU will contains all the information about the habitat and distribution of the plants which are found in that particular area, that is Banaras Hindu University campus. So statement 1 is absolutely true. Statement 2 says that the flora help in correct identification. Yes, the flora help in correct identification of the plant specimen, but this is not the correct explanation for the statement 1. So the correct option would be B, that both the statements are correct. The statement 2 that the flora help in correct identification is not the correct explanation for the statement 1. Now, next question says that read the given statement that describes certain infectious particle. First, it is a free RNA particle that lack protein code. Second, it is a small self-replicating particle which was first discovered by the Daniel. Third says it causes a potato spindle tuber disease. Fourth, it has low molecular weight RNA as a genetic material. Which of the following is referred here? A, virus, B, viroid, C, virons, D, bacteriophage. So you have to find out the organisms with respect to the statements given in the question. So you have to identify that organism. By looking at the one statement, you can easily identify the organism. That is a free RNA particle that lacks protein code. That means they're talking about viroids. Viroids are the ones which have the naked RNA or the free RNA. They lack protein code. They causes a disease which is the potato spindle tuber disease. They were discovered by Daniel. They have a low molecular weight than RNA. These are the characteristics of the viroids. Remember this, very, very important. So the correct option is option number B. Please remember the characteristics of virus, viroids and prions which is given in NCERT. And remember the disease which is associated with the prions. Select the incorrect statement. A. NBRI is situated at Lucknow. B. Plant families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymoniales, mainly based on the floral characters. C. All living organisms such as from present, past, future are linked to one another by sharing of the common genetic material but to varying degree. D. The order Solanum, Datura, Petunia are placed in family Solanaceae. So we have to find out the incorrect statement. NBRI is situated at Lucknow. Absolutely correct. NBRI is a National Botanical Research Institute which is situated at Lucknow. B says plant families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae, they are placed under the order Polynomials mainly based on their floral characters. Absolutely correct. All living organisms such as from past, present, future linked to one another by sharing of the common genetic material but to a varying degree. This is also absolutely correct. The orders Solanum, Datura, Petunia are placed in family Solanaceae. Here it is given order. Remember the Solanum, Datura, Petunia. These all are genus. They are not order, they are genus and they are placed in the family Solanaceae. So this is incorrect. So the incorrect statement is only D. So the correct option is C. Next one, consider the following statement regarding gymnosperm and choose the correct option. First, in gymnosperm, the male and female gametophyte have independent existence. Second, the multicellular female gametophyte is retained within the megasporangium. Third, the gymnosperms are heterosporous. So we have to find out the correct option. Statement 1 says in gymnosperm, the male and female gametophyte have independent existence. This is incorrect. They does not have the independent existence. They have dependent existence. That means they are dependent on the sporophyte. The multicellular female gametophyte is retained within the megasporangium. Absolutely correct. Gymnosperms are heterosporous. Absolutely correct. All gymnosperms are heterosporous. So this is true. This is also true. And the first one is false. So second and third are correct. But first is incorrect. So the correct option is option number D. Consider the following four statements whether they are correct or wrong. The sporophyte in liverwort is more elaborate than that in Moss's. Salvinia is heterosporous. The life cycle in all seed-bearing plant is diplontic. In Pinus, the male and female cones are born on different trees. The two wrong statements together are. So we have to find out the wrong statement. First says the sporophyte in liverwort is more elaborate than that in mosses. Absolutely wrong. The sporophyte in liverwort is less elaborate than that in mosses. That means the sporophyte in mosses is more elaborate. Second says Salvinia is heterosporous. Absolutely correct. Please remember Salvinia and Selaginella. These are the pteridophytes which are heterosporous. The life cycle in all seed-bearing plant is diplontic. Absolutely correct. Gymnosperm and angiosperm, these are the seed-bearing plants and they have diplontic life cycle. In Pinus, male and female cones are born on different trees. This is wrong and a false statement because they are born on the same tree, not on different tree. They are monoecious. Cycas is dioecious. In cycles, you will observe the male and female cone on different trees or on different plants. But in case of pinus, you will observe the male and female cone on the same tree or on the same plant because pinus is monoecious. Remember this. So statement 1 is wrong and statement 4 is wrong. So the correct option is B, that is 1 and 4. How many members are heterosporous from the given member in box? Aeratum, Polytrichum, Marsilia, Equisetum, Lycopodium, Selaginella, Ginkgo, Azolla, Sphagnum. We have to find out the heterosporous. Remember gymnosperms. They all are heterosporous. Bryophytes. They all are homosporous. Pteridophytes. Some are heterosporous and some are homosporous. Selaginella, Salvinia, Azolla. Marsilia, they all are heterosporous. Adiatum, polytrichum, equisetum, lycopodium. They all are homosporous pteridophyte. Here you can see the ginkgo and sphagnum is written. Ginkgo is gymnosperm, which is heterosporous. I told you that all gymnosperms are heterosporous. And sphagnum is a bryophyte, which is a moss. And all bryophyte are homosporous. So, Marsilia is heterosporous, Selaginella is heterosporous, Ginkgo is heterosporous, and Azolla is heterosporous. So, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, correct option is A, that is 4. Please remember this. Next question says that Prothallus gametophyte give rise to fern plant sporophyte without fertilization. It is known as A. Apospore, B. Apogamy, C. Parthenocarpy, D. Parthenogenesis. Remember these two terms, apospore and apogamy. In apospore means that gametophyte is formed from sporophyte. Apogamy means sporophyte is formed from gametophyte. That means no fusion of gamete is taking place, no fertilization is taking place because apo always means without. In the question, it is saying that prothallus, which is a gametophyte, is give rise to a fern plant, which is a sporophyte. That means sporophyte is forming from the gametophyte without fertilization. So sporophyte is formed from gametophyte. This is known as apogamy. So the correct option is B, that is apogamy. Parthenocarp is the formation of fruit without fertilization. Parthenogenesis means when the embryo is developed without fertilization. That there's a development of the embryo without fertilization. Next question says, which of the following statement is not true for bryophytes? They undergo meiosis to produce sporophyte. They lack trachees and seed tubes. They are photosynthetic. Their spores germinate to produce gametophyte. So which of the following statement is not true for bryophyte? That means we have to find out the incorrect statement or the wrong statement. They undergo meiosis to produce sporophyte. This is wrong because in bryophyte, when the gametes get fused, they produce zygote. Zygote forms sporophyte. So sporophyte is forming from the zygote without undergoing meiosis. Now this sporophyte will have spore mother cell. These spore mother cell will undergo meiosis. They will produce haploid spores. And these haploid spores will give rise to the gametophyte, which is haploid in dominant plant body. So they undergo meiosis to produce sporophyte. This is wrong. Sporophyte is directly forming the zygote. They lack trachees and sieve tubes. Absolutely correct. It does not have the conducting tissues. See, they are photosynthetic, absolutely correct. They are photosynthetic. D, their spore germinate to produce gametophyte. This is also correct. You can see the sporophyte, they have capsule. In the capsule, spore mother cells are present. In the spore mother cell, meiosis occur because the zygote is diploid. Sporophyte will also be diploid because sporophyte is developed from the zygote. So sporophyte will also be diploid. Now, the spore mother cells which are present in the capsule of the sporophyte, they will also be diploid. And when the meiosis occurs, they will produce the haploid spore because meiosis is the reductional division. Now these haploid spores, they will germinate to produce the gametophyte. So the spore germinate to produce the gametophyte. This is also correct. So statement 1 is not true with respect to the question. So this is a correct option with respect to the question statement A. So that's all. We have discussed a lot of questions. I hope this lecture was informative and interesting for you. Thank you all. Have a nice day.